What's up, guys? Earl at Sumo Bully Kennels back at you with another one. This is part 3, right? Are you thinking about getting into dog breeding? The value of a male. So this is not like part 1 of 3, part 2 of 3, whatever. This is an ongoing series that I've created because the topic truly doesn't end, right? There's so many questions and so many things that people ask. And so to provide value in our industry for buyers, sellers, breeders, show people, I decided to continue this series so that everyone is on the same page, right? So give you guys a quick recap, right? I did my part 1, cost of admission, right? Starting with a female. I did the breakdown, the math of the breakdown with a adult and puppy, and what are the costs, the holding cost, and everything else. I followed that up by knowing your identity in the space, which is basically a summary of if you don't know who you are in the space, well then, what are you doing here, right? You're just like everybody else. So hopefully that you know what, that episode actually brought a lot of views and a lot of responses and messages from you guys. And so in this one, I'm going to change it up because normally I would break down the cost of a male and all that crap. But in this one, I actually want to do a deep dive, right? So if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. If you are liking and subscribe, thank you very much. And if you've been watching our content and haven't subscribed yet, let's do a gentleman's agreement, right? If you feel I bring value to this industry by the information I'm sharing, let's shake on it, right? Give me a subscribe, give me a like. I would appreciate it. So for everyone even watching, whether you subscribe or not, I'd like to say thank you. So here we go. Promise you guys this is going to be a firecracker of an episode, right? All right, so here we go. Let's get into it without further ado. In this episode, I want to go over the value of a male, right? So let's start from one perspective. From a breeder's perspective, what is the value of a male? Well, it's actually quite simple, right? You believe in a production, a genotype, a phenotype, and you can acquire a male for foundational purposes, right? To bring into your yard as a foundational male, something that you're going to base your look and your bloodline around. If you are already a mid-tier breeder or an established breeder, why would you bring in new blood, right? So the second one is it's because it's a missing piece, right? In a perfect world, every dog would be perfect, clean, correct, with a wow factor, all that stuff. But the reality of it is this: no dog is perfect. No program is perfect, right? And that's the beautiful part about this journey of the pursuit of creating that ultimate bully dog, right? And for us, we're in the XL lane. So another reason as a breeder that you would bring in a male is for outcross vigor, right? Maybe you spent 3, 4, 5, 6 years line breeding and your blood has become tight, maybe dated, right? And when I say dated, that's not an insult. Basically, because we're such a young breed, the breed evolves so fast. And, the males from 3 years ago have outproduced themselves. So if you're going back to a male of 3 years ago, basis the males of now, you're going to see a big difference, hopefully. Or at least if you are following the breedings, the productions, and you're going to see, okay, well, is male A was the foundation, who created male B, male 3 is really outproducing himself, and he's a better version of male 2 and male 1, right? If male 3 is not any better than male 1, which is his grandfather, then as breeders we have failed, because ultimately to move your program forward is to make everything better than what it was, right? Okay, so another reason as a breeder you would bring in a foundational male is for line breed blood or consistency. So let's say you have a lot of, let's call it, I don't know, Chanel blood in your yard, you know, and you outcross to Gucci or Louis Vuitton or whatever the case, whatever brand you're talking about, and you've gotten a little bit loose. So you would pick up a foundational male to keep your blood consistent, right? Another reason why a breeder would pick a high value male is for stud feed revenue. Males can produce revenue for your yard, and that's by stud feed. Now, there's a lot that goes behind that, and I'll get into it as the episode progresses. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that to bring a male onto your yard and to pick a puppy male, which is going to be your cheapest option, is he's got to have a purpose, right? That male has to garner attention and bring attention to your yard. Otherwise, why did you bring him in? It all comes back to the why, right? Why bring in something that has no purpose? If it doesn't have purpose, well then don't bring it in. And I'll drink to that one. Oh, by the way, happy Friday, guys. It is Friday and there's a snowstorm in Chicago, so kind of sucks. So moving on to the next one, right? Show person. Let's talk about someone who loves the shows, loves going to shows, loves the environment, the culture, right? Why would you invest in a production of a high quality male? Well, you want a show quality champion dog. Ultimately, right? You didn't come there to lose. You didn't spend your money on a dog to raise it, groom it, train it, travel, pay for pictures, videos, and all this stuff to go to a show and just be second, third, or fourth place. You invested to win. And if you didn't invest to win, what are you doing? Otherwise, don't bring your dog to the show and just go to the show and have fun, right? I know it's, man, that might hurt some people to say, but that's the reality of things, right? Second is to garner attention to your program, your yard, your program. You know, if you're a show person that trains dogs, whatever, photographer, whatever your niche is in the market, and everyone has a niche, right? Maybe you're a good show person, maybe you're a good handler, maybe you're a good photographer. You know, you're a show person ultimately. And so you're investing in a high quality male to enhance your skills, right? That male brings attention to your yard, and your skill set is maybe, let's say it's not breeding, maybe it's photography, handling, videos, editing. That's why you would invest in a high quality male, to bring attention to your yard so that you can capitalize and generate revenue from the things that you are good at. And ultimately, when you know, even as a show person, you're going to get stud feed requests. That's just how it goes. You know, it's that's part of the industry, right? All right. So let's say you're a hybrid person, right? Breeder and show. Well, then everything I mentioned above makes sense. And I'll go down the list, right? Show quality champion dog, you know, foundation for your yard, a missing piece, right, to strengthen the structure of your dog and conformation. Maybe he's, you know, you buy a dog for outcross vigor. Maybe you buy a dog for line breed blood and consistency. Maybe you got him because you know he's going to be a good stud fee revenue producer for you. Or garner attention to your yard and program, right? Because sometimes that's all it is, because a lot of this is branding. In which case, all those reasons make sense, right? So you got to check off the boxes, right? So if you're buying a male and we got a 8-part checklist, make sure he checks at least 5 of those boxes. Otherwise, why are you even buying this dog? It doesn't make sense, right? Okay, so the third kind of person that would buy a male is a pet home. And I've been a pet home guy all my life. had dogs since growing up. I bred dogs. I've had pet dogs. Makes sense. So I'll go over this one just because it's part of the profile. You buy a dog because it exhibits the breed standard that you're a fan of, right? The characteristics, the traits, the temperament, the conformation. For us, American XL bullies, this dog is very imposing in appearance, right? There's a lot of bravado, I love that. And there's nothing wrong with buying a dog for a pet home, but if you're a pet home person, you probably should get bottom picks. If there's 5 males in the litter, I'd take 4 or 5. Just as a fan of the breed, maybe he turns out, maybe he doesn't, but I'm not committed to everything else. So why would I buy a first pick male and pretty much do nothing with him? It doesn't make sense. So ultimately, as a pet owner, our pets or dogs for our particular lane, they are an extension of us, an extension of our personality, our bravado. For the same reason we buy cars, right? You buy a Corolla, let's say you buy a Chevy Express Serviceman or a BMW or a Tesla or whatever vehicle you drive, it only serves the purpose for 3 things, right? Is it for utility, for comfort, or for luxury? Everyone has their own reason, and that's okay. It's your money. You spend it how you want it, right? So what does it come down to? For example, buying a first pick keeper buyout, right? So as a breeder, I breed to move my program forward. And so in this particular reason, I'm talking about this topic because there are people that offered me a buyout on our litter for Klaus and Fortuna for my first pick keeper. And it's a tough pill to swallow. However, as a breeder and as a business, that's part of what we have to deal with, right? Buying a first pick keeper buyout is an investment for all the things I said above, right? And I'll break it down for you. Okay, so here we go. Back to the classroom, right? Buying a first keeper or first keeper buyout or a second pick, like top pick male. Year 1 and 2, you have your intro stud fees. And what's that mean? For those who you are not deep in the industry, it is basically a young male who has a lot of potential being put out in the marketplace at a discounted price. That's what a early lock-in is. Okay, I'm going to go over the career of a dog right now. Between year 2 and 3 is mid-tier pricing, right? The dog goes up in value. And as we go into this, I'll explain why. Between year 3 and 5, that's the peak of a male dog. And therefore, a 3 to 5 year old male dog is a high value commodity if he turns out the way he's supposed to, and that's when you're going to see the highest stud fees for him, right? So for me as a business person, for me as a breeder, for me who understands this industry, if you go into year 1 and you're charging year 3 prices, that tells me, you don't have the proper perspective of what it is. And same thing with year 1 and 2, year 2 and 3, and year 3 and 5. Know your position, right? Once you hit like year 5 and 6, that dog should be retiring from being a stud. He should just be a pet dog, and he's got another 5 to 7 years or 9 years to live. That's retirement age for him. Because the reality is, at that age, you should have produced better dogs than him. So for you guys who don't breed, that's exactly what it is, right? So back to school. Here we go. Year 1, between year 1 and year 2, let's say your early lock-in fees are $5K for a high-powered, high pedigree, you know, beautiful phenotype dog, you should be 5K, you know, and that's a conservative number, right? You know, thick blood, man, good pedigree, deep pedigree. So between year 1 and 2, you sell that dog 3 times, and that's a conservative number. As an early lock-in, you know, you're gonna make 15K on him. Now, year 2 rolls around, he's between 12 months and 24 months. Assuming that you have taken him to some shows, and assuming that you have done your work, taking pictures, videos, and showing people what this dog really is, you know, why would his stud fee bump up from 5 to 8? It would do that if he shows well. You know, at this point, his productions are not old enough. So therefore, you got to take him to show. He's got to be able to stand up against other males in his age and class category. So at 4 lock-ins for between year 1 and 2, that's at 8K, that's 32K, right? 32,000. So year 3 now your dog is proven, right? His rate should be no less than 10K, to be honest. And if you marketed him correctly, you should have no less than 4 stud fees, right? And that's being conservative. So at 4 stud fees at 10K, that's $40,000, right? So based on a conservative pricing structure and intermediate stud marketing strategy, the total revenue of a male dog would be 87K for the reproductive years, right? Now, what happens when you get a big name dog like Klaus? And right here he is. This is my first breeding with our girl Fortuna. Klaus had a record lock-in 1 year of 30 lock-ins in 1 year. Imagine that. He is an extreme type, hyper type, you know, for the XL class. You know, some people love him, some people hate him. That's okay. But he brings a lot of substance. So what happens if you hit on a dog and you know, in 1 year, shoot, Klaus is only like 2.5 years old, and you get 30 lock-ins. You see what I'm saying? Like, and if you looked on, you know, online, his stuff, you would see his stud fee is 10K. And that's what I'm talking about, right? So here we go. Now I'm going to speak on some notable studs I like, because I'm going to be honest. 1, I don't own Klaus. 2, I don't own any of the dogs I'm going to mention. 3, no one is paying me to do this. Therefore, I'm at liberty. I can pick a giraffe if I want. No one can say anything to me, because I do what I want because of honesty and to share this with the industry, right? So I'm going to name some dogs, and we'll look at them on Pitpedia or Instagram, and they are in no particular order, right? I'm not saying one is better than the other. These are dogs I like, right? So I'll throw first one up. Zippo by Create Greater Bullies. So let's go to my Insta here. That way you know, oh, something went wrong. Let's go. Let's look at Create Greater Bullies, right? Look at this boy right here. Man, monster, right? You want to talk about phenotype, genotype, all that. He's petted up. He's an amazing dog, right? I'm a fan of this boy. You know, I'm not sure how his career is going because I don't own him. You know, I couldn't comment on it. But I'm just going to name some random names of dogs that I like. You know, I like Klaus. I like Zippo. Let's see. Who else? I like... I like Top Gun. So if you guys are not familiar with Top Gun, but if you're in this industry, then you know who Top Gun is. Man, boom, fire. Look at that boy right there, muscled up, just handsome as can be. You know, I'm a fan of him, and I've reached out to Emmanuel Tavares because I do want to use him in my program at some point. You know, I got my girls are a little young, but I just want to go over like what is it I'm looking at. You know, look at that boy. I'll tell you like this, guys, before we move forward. Ooh, excuse me. I really don't care who owns the dog, what his pedigree is. If you take away the color of the dog, the bloodline of the dog, the pedigree, and who of what camp he comes out of, and you just look at the dog, that's the most unbiased way to compliment the dog and say, hey, that dog is fire, right? Okay, I'll continue. Who else do I like, right? Who else do I like? I like, I like Smash with the Eternals. And if you look at this dog, what's not to like, right? Look at this. Man, look. Come on, man. Come on. Kidding me? Look at that boy. Look at that spread. Look at them shoulders. You know what I mean? And I've put hands on this boy in person. He is as advertised, guys. So, again, I don't own him. I make no money by mentioning him. I'm just letting you know what I like. And you can like other dogs. It's all perspective, right? There is no wrong or right because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I'll show you another one I like. Okay, here we go. Gatorhead bullies. Bam. You know who I like there? I'll tell you who I like, which is who everyone likes anyway. Whopper. Look at that handsome boy right there. Nice. Try chocolate. Taking on his chest. Look at this. Come on. This dog's just ridiculous. Who doesn't want that, right? If you're in the XL bully lane. So I like Whopper. And one of my aspirations is to go down there and see him in person and put hands on him. So, you know, I have not seen this dog in person yet, but I am a fan of him, and what I see of him is enough for me to make me drive down there or fly down there to see this dog, just to see him. You know who else I like? Gosh, let me see if I can find this. I like Enzo. You know what? Let me go on Pitpedia. Might be easier for me, guys, because, you know, there it is. Enzo. See, I like that short back, thick muscle, nice wide spread. Look at the big old head on that boy. Yes, sir. I like Enzo. And I'll do one more. All right. Let's do this guy. I like Loso, guys. Mr. Fabulous. This is Loso, right? He is on Insta. He was produced by Blueberry Kennels. Let's see. I'm sure I got him here somewhere. But anyhow, I don't want to harp on it. But see, I have a list of things I like. And we don't have to agree on what I like versus what you like. That's me. I like a certain look, and I'm trying to produce a certain look. And therefore, I fanboy out, and I give respect where respect is due. I reach out to people. Some people get back to me. Some people don't, but it's okay. You know, I don't expect everyone to align with my vision. So, oops, sorry. In summary, guys, okay? Now, I want you to really listen to this because it's very important. To purchase and invest in a high-quality breeding is an investment, number one. Number two, that investment will take time and money to nurture. You do a first pick dog a disservice if you acquire this dog and you put it in a closet for no one to see. Right? Maybe you have the most amazing dog, but no one sees it. So it costs money to show the dog. It costs money to take pictures and feed them and give them vitamins and walk them and train them, take video and shoot, editing and everything. It's a lot of time and effort, guys. So for those of you that are in this, you understand what it is. For those of you who are like kind of new, guys, give these guys respect, because breeders, you get one bad picture of a dog and everyone talks about that dog badly, and it's like you don't understand how much work goes behind it, right? Three, if the dog doesn't shine, you don't shine, right? So why did you buy it? To keep it all to yourself? It's kind of selfish to me, but hey, if that's your thing, cool. I'm not mad at you. So depending on what your goals are, right, you should buy, anything like 1, 2, 3 pick male, if you're a breeder, a show person, or a breeder / show person. I would say stick within the first 2 or 3 picks, whichever one you can get at the best value. And again, building relationships is very important with breeders, especially if they carry the blood and the look that you like. The other thing is, when you're buying a dog, right, as a newbie or intermediate breeder, it's like, are you even qualified to know what you're looking at to choose the correct dog for the investment you're making? For me, it might benefit you to pay a mentor who's more experienced to select a dog for you, because someone who has more time, 5, 10, 15, 20 years into this thing, and has a better perception at that age of a dog, right? We can all look at a 3-year-old dog and be like, yep, that dog looks better than that dog. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can take a new person and do that. But the problem is, when you're dealing with a 8-week-old dog who has another 2 to 3 years to grow, have you seen enough 8-week-old dogs to see how they're going to turn out, right? I don't know, just food for thought, right? Or does it benefit you to pay somebody, right? The reality is, a third pick can grow up and be better than the first pick. There are no guarantees in this game with puppies, guys. No breeder can guarantee you an absolute outcome that the dog you picked and pay the most money for is going to be the best dog, hands down, in that litter. And if they say that, I'd probably stay away from it. But the right person who has the eye can have an advantage, right, when it comes to this aspect. And so consider that. In my opinion, if you just want a good quality pet home dog, then pick 1 through 3 is not for you. However, if you're a breeder or have plans on breeding, or a show dog person, then it is of the utmost importance, right? So let's say I buy electric drill, right? Like those battery drills. I could buy the cheap Ryobi one if I'm a homeowner, because I'm probably going to only use it once a year, if that. But what if I'm working 40 to 60 hours a week? Then I'm going to double pay and get the DeWalt, the Milwaukee, the bigger name brand that is meant for a contractor. So there is a big difference, guys. When you see those Ryobis that are like a third of the price of the same DeWalt or Milwaukee drill, that's for a homeowner that's used that once or twice in their life. Now, a contractor who goes out there and makes money with that same drill, he can't buy a Ryobi. He's got to buy that, the DeWalt or the Milwaukee. That's like 2 or 3 times the price of the Ryobi. That's the reality of things, guys. So please keep that in mind. So with that said, it's like, the reality is that, pick 1 through 3 can go either way. In my opinion, if you want a good quality pet dog, or quality pet home dog, then pick 1 through 3 is not for you. However, if you're a breeder or have plans on breeding or show your dogs, then it's of the utmost importance. So if you plan on investing on a stud, know what it comes with, right? There are only 2 ways to build value for a stud, guys. Newsflash. Boom, here it is, mic drop. One, is he a super producer, right? Again, 2 ways to build value. Two, can you place in show? How does he stack up against his peers, right? Both ways require time, effort, and money. So if you want to get into this game or this industry, whatever you want to call it, know the price of admission, number one, and what it comes with, right? So due to the request that I've been getting, people reaching out to me, I will be offering business consultations in the next week or two. Stay tuned for that. I didn't start this channel for that. However, I'm at that point where, it really impedes on my time with my dogs, with my family, my personal time to work out, whatever else. So guys, man, thank you so much for the support. It really means so much to me, and I love doing this. So with that said, guys, here, one last announcement for me, and we do have this breeding coming up. This is Mr. Klaus. We're calling this the Bone Crusher breeding, right? We're doubling down on that Brazil blood, and these pups are due in March. And the reality is, to get a dog like Klaus here in the U.S. costs a lot of money. Same thing with Fortuna. So if you've never purchased an adult dog, I'll put it this way: if you pay 10 or 15 or 20 grand for a puppy, imagine what an adult costs. And then on top of that, compound that with the dog is not in the U.S. and you have to import the dog here, which is one cost, and then the medicals is another cost. So just give perspective, and if you guys ask enough questions on that, I will do an episode on it. So we do have this breeding coming up, and this is what I'm calling the Bone Crusher breeding. These are two hyper type, extreme type for XL bullies, muscled up, because I have a vision of what I'm creating, right? And these two dogs are what's necessary to create that. And therefore, there was an investment and a time value to do this. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. And again, tap in with us, subscribe, like. With that said, this episode is about the value of a male dog. So thank you so much. I'll catch you guys on the next one.